Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Kit Conspiracy. This is the second layout that we are scrap lifting this week, and it is by Crafty Tam on scrapbook.com. And so my inspiration, what I took from that is the hexagons. So I am taking that specialty paper from Factory 42, and I'm using it on this double page layout. So I am stretching that layout into a double pager, and I didn't really see a need for me to keep the pipe paper all as pipes because I'm not documenting anything that has pipes with it really, and it looks very industrial and such, so I thought I'll just cut it into the hexagons, and I mean you can tell that it's pipes, but it's not as obvious. I did trim down my photos a bit. These were full 4x6 photos, and I trimmed them down about 1/4 of an inch top to bottom and about 1/2 an inch on the sides. Actually a little bit more than that on the sides. And then the cake one, I cut it down as much as I could. I don't know why I did that. I actually did the cake first, and I was like, why did I not do that? I normally like to keep them a uniform height, but for whatever reason, I cut it down. So it is what it is. Can't put it back now. You can certainly go and reprint the photo, but that wasn't going to happen either because these were sent out. I printed those at Shutterfly quite some time ago. And so it's not like if I printed it on my selfie, it would be the same size either because it prints slightly smaller than a 4x6. And then the finish would also be different. These are a matte finish. The selfie has it's a gloss finish, but it's not super glossy like a glossy photo from a photo processing place. So I'm going to go ahead and just start working on where all of these hexagons go. I want them kind of random, but I want them kind of dispersed across the two pages so that they kind of carry the same weight. I don't want one page to be so heavy with a lot of hexagons that the other page looks like it's missing hexagons. So kind of just spreading them across as best I can. And then I have these templates that I made. They're just made out of cardstock. I really should make these out of something different than cardstock, but they are just templates in various sizes of hexagons that are larger than my punches. And that is the key because or smaller than my punches. My punches I have 2 punches, they cut 2 different sizes, but sometimes you want to mix up the sizes. And so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to cut them on my silhouette. I just now marked them with the word template so that I don't mix them up and actually use them on the page. And then I can just use my scissors to cut around the template. You know, they're straight lines. It's not a big deal to actually cut it with the scissors. And this gives me a lot of options in the different sizes. I also don't have to carry anything that's really big and heavy to just get like 1 or 2 large ones. Not that I don't even know if they make hexagon punches that big, but I also don't have to break out my silhouette if I just want to get 2 or 3 cut. So I thought that works really well. I did try stamping some hexagons on a couple of them to kind of see if I liked that look, and I wasn't really crazy about it, so I just went with the plain black, and I'm going to intersperse those as well, just like I did the pattern paper there with the silver on it. I did decide to ink up everything with Black Soot Distress ink, and I'm just using the scrapbook.com ink blending tool. And then I'm going to start gluing things down with my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. And I put enough glue on there to hold it, but it doesn't have to have a ton of glue. This glue holds really well, dries matte and clear, and so and it dries quick, so I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm liking the way that it's looking so far. And I do know that I'm going to kind of have these large hexagons kind of on the peripheral edges of the smaller ones because I can't really put them in the center because then the spacing doesn't line up right for the other ones to nestle in. So they do kind of have to be on the edges. And then here I'm just kind of like spacing out where these ones in the bottom should go. So it looks like it's continuing below my photographs, even though it's not. So the two that are kind of right in the center there, linking the top to the bottom, those are not glued down. They're just there to hold the spacing. And I don't think that's something that you have to do. I don't think anybody's going to be looking at your layout in that much detail that they're going to be like, oh, you didn't space your top ones from your bottom ones properly. But I was trying to get them aligned the same way so that the points were going the same direction. Hopefully that makes sense. And it, you know, it's not really hard to do either, so I thought that it works really well to use the hexagons to space out properly. Okay, then I also wanted to space or carry over from one page to the other, so that black one is definitely going to do that job for me. And I felt like that worked really well because it looks like it's nestled in between hexagons, but it's not really, because there's only one on each side, or one, there's three completely, or three in total. And it's only a little bit larger than the original punched hexagons. So I thought that works well, and it kind of carries across the two pages, and that makes me pretty happy. So I've got my photos matted on white now, and just kind of making sure everything is where I want it, and making sure I have enough hexagons, because I don't really have enough paper left to cut any more hexagons. I can cut like edges of them, but I can't cut the whole thing. And sometimes that's all you really need, because the other edge will hang off the paper, or it'll go underneath the photos or something like that. So you don't really need full hexagons for every spot. But I do want to make sure that I have enough to kind of space them out and, again, look like it's well balanced. So I'm going to play with my photos a bit here in a second, just making sure I get them in the right order chronologically. I don't scrapbook chronologically, but I do I like to have my photos on the layout chronologically, and I do file them in my albums chronologically. But in this case, I wanted to make sure, you know, they're not eating the cake before it's actually cut. I don't know. I don't suppose it really would matter if you know, at the end of the day, but it seems to make sense in my mind. So that's what I was doing there. And then in the photo on the far right, they're actually standing in line to go on the go-karts again. So this was we're having our cake, and then we're going to go back on the go-karts. And so my son is in the shirt that is black with the round or the oval circle on it. So it was his 10th birthday. And then my daughter is in the red shirt, and then her cousin is next to her, and then a group of their friends. So I'm just inking up more of these hexagons. I didn't ink all of them beforehand. I kind of inked as I went. Kind of just to break up the process, because otherwise it gets monotonous doing the same thing over and over repeatedly, especially when you have this many hexagons going on. But I do want to make sure that they all have that inking on them, because you could definitely tell. It doesn't look like it makes a huge difference when you're just looking at one hexagon, but when you do all of them, it does make a big difference when you forget one. So I'm just going to clean up the edges here, and then we are going to finish up doing any additional hexagons. So any of those ones that I'm cutting off the edge that are large, I might reuse those and tuck them underneath the photo, so I only need a portion of it. So that's why I decided to go ahead and cut those off, because I knew I might need them, or I might reuse them just to kind of fill in some gaps, much like I'm doing right here. Like, you don't even know that is just a little part that I cut off. I'm just adding some more of the black ones just to kind of finish it off. And I do realize you can't see the one that I just put underneath the cake photo, but it does look like there's one back there. I don't want it to look like there's just a big blank space behind my photos, and that the pattern didn't continue across. I want it to look like it was a continuous pattern. So filling in some of those areas behind where there's gaps between the photos does make sense. So while I finish putting those last few hexagons down, I will remind you that MK has a layout today for this same inspiration piece. And I highly recommend you go check out her channel. Her link is down below in my description box, as are the links to the products that I am using on my layout. So, and also, um, I will put a link, I will try to remember to put a link to the kit share down below in case you missed that. And so this is the kit that we are using for the week, the second week in April. If you missed any of this series last week, we used a different kit, which was very bright and colorful, using a lot of Vicki Boutin color study and a little bit of Cocoa Vanilla. And next week we were going to change our kits out again. So I pulled out these foam glittery alpha stickers. These are from Paper Studio, which is the Hobby Lobby brand. And I pulled out several different fonts. There is a set of thickers there. I don't end up using any of the thickers. Actually, there's 2 sets of thickers there. I end up just using the Hobby Lobby brand ones for the title. I do use some of the embellishments from one of those sets of thickers. But the title is all just, all the alphas are from Paper Studio. So my title is going to be Bash at Boomers, and that is the name of the place that we are at. And I probably could have gotten it all out of one font, but I liked the idea of having 2 different fonts because I don't know, Boomers is the name of a place, and so I wanted it to kind of have its own special font, and it's kind of got that circusy kind of a look to it. But the colors are identical in the red, and so I thought that worked out really well. And then this set of thickers, it's a birthday collection. I'm not sure of the name of it, actually. And it's been around for quite some time in my stash. In fact, it's been around so long that it is really hard to get some of these stickers off of the paper without the backing coming with it. So I kind of struggled with that just a bit. But I liked the idea of bringing in more of the red into the embellishment areas, and so I thought these did a really good job of that. And they're kind of large, which works really well when you have a double page layout and I'm only doing 3 embellishment areas. Making them a little bit bigger works great because I have a lot of real estate, and I don't feel like I have to put in, like, I don't need 3 embellishment areas on one page. I can just do it across the double page. So I did pull out the words here, cake, party, and hooray, and I'm going to use those in my embellishment areas as well. I thought they were kind of festive and fun, and considering they're for a birthday, I thought they were just like the perfect addition. And I'm really happy to get these used up and out of my stash before I can't get them off the backing paper. So the word hooray there, I have the Y kind of nestled down in between the dip of the bow, and that made me kind of happy there. That's kind of what I was playing with. And then I went to my bin of yellow things and pulled out some labels. This balloon. The balloon actually had a hot pink wire around it. I took my Sharpie and made that hot pink wire red. Since red and pink are very close on the spectrum there, I didn't even have to go over it a whole lot to make sure it was covered, because if it wasn't covered, you couldn't see it. This little ticket, I pulled it out. I'm just trimming it down. I'm just kind of figuring out where I want the placement of things. When you have the tickets that have the indentations on the corners, I like to use my hole punch to kind of punch those corners out and give it that inset circle, I guess. I don't know what that's called, but that's what I'm calling it. So, and then I am going to use that yellow area, the label that I'm putting down right now. That's going to be where my journaling goes. I don't have a ton of journaling, but there is a little bit. But given the layout that I did on Saturday, so this is Tuesday. Saturday's layout is also from this event. I will have journaling on that one just below the title, and that kind of means I don't need as much space on this one because I already am going to be talking about this event on the first layout. So I'm just going to stamp the date. And I did use my distress ink. I don't know why I did that. I normally pull out my archival ink, but you know, it was handy, so that's what I did. So there are the still shots, and I hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you have questions or comments, as always, just leave those down below. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Don't forget to go check out what MK has done for today's video. I can't wait to see it myself, and I appreciate that you took the time to watch my video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up button, and don't forget to hit the bell so you get notifications. And if you're not already subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe too. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.